Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our session today on Jumping into Your Greatness. My name is Krystylle Richardson. Very extremely happy to be here in the Best You Expo today. There's lots of great sessions that have been planned. There's this one. I'll also be speaking tomorrow. And then I'll be on a panel on Monday, and then I'll be speaking in the women's empowerment area on Wednesday on Ladies, It Is Time to Smash Your Trash. So I hope that you are engaged throughout the summit. There's so many great speakers, even some that I hope to hear myself. And so we'll go ahead and get started with the presentation.
Shift your mindset, shift your destiny. Krystylle Richardson is known in various circles as the leadership expert. As an international speaker, author, radio show host, red carpet interviewer, and missionary, she is hyper-focused on impact. Krystylle has spoken and trained on mindset, leadership, and business in conferences and missions all across the U.S., as well as in 25 countries. Her radio shows, Soaring with Eagles and Above Your Best, have been heard by tens of thousands of listeners in 35 countries and counting. As a victim of bullying, she has infused kindness and give-back models into her mindset and leadership training. She has also influenced positive change in profits and self-worth on an international level for big corporations, small businesses, churches, families, and individuals. Her motto is, the right mindset can change everything. Go to KrystylleRichardson.com and book this high-impact, passionate, and energetic speaker today.
So that was our introduction. I understand there's some people that are stuck on Zoom that they may not be able to get in. So hopefully what we'll be able to do is have where we can share the replay for them to be able to get the information. So I appreciate you being on today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So today's session is on jumping into your greatness, jumping into your greatness. So no matter where you are, what you're doing right now, you may have a pen and paper. I want you to go ahead and put that down and just do these motions with me. Jumping into your greatness, jumping into your greatness. My name is Krystylle Richardson with Above Your Best. And if your mind is right, then life is better, right? The thing that I want to get across in this particular session is in relation to mindset and mindfulness and how we can use that to improve our life, improve our business and relationships. So one of the main things that I go over with people is saying this particular thing on a daily basis when I do coaching. It says, today is a new day. My future, my choice. I will jump, I will land, I will succeed. Let's go ahead and say that again. And wherever you are, again, just go ahead and say that with me if you're able to say it out loud. Today is a new day. My future, my choice. I will jump, I will land, and I will succeed. So as we go into our presentation, I want to talk about the different things that actually hold people back. Some of the things that hold people back and how we can do better in our lives, not letting that happen. 3 of the main focus points that I'll have today are in relation to fear, worth, and abundance. Fear, worth, and abundance. So as we continue on with this 45 minutes, we are going to dig deep into each one of these areas in hopes that you'll find some things that will help you to make it through your journey. So as we go into this session, what I want you to do is just go ahead and before we put pen to paper and start writing notes on various things, I want you to put those down and I want you to just take a breath. Go ahead and put your hands up in the air and just stretch and just take a deep breath. I'm going to take a deep breath right now myself. So what I want you to do is keep your eyes closed and just focus in on the title of this session, Jumping into Your Greatness, Jumping into Your Greatness. And what does that actually mean to you? Everybody has their own individual and unique success freedom formula. And what we will do today is do some things together, but we will also have where you take some time to evaluate your freedom formula for yourself. So just go ahead and just take a little bit of time to just think about your life. Think about the things that you may have already written down related to your goals and aspirations, and visualize, do they seem far away or do they seem close? Do they seem big or do they seem small? Do they even seem attainable? Can you reach them? Or do you feel like you cannot? As you open your eyes, what we'll be doing is just having time to focus in on the lessons that I'll be going over related to those 3 words, but having where you spend your own individual time, as stated, focusing in on what is important to you. So I want you to go ahead and exhale and focus. Focus. And I want you to have an open mind on today, if you could. I want to have a few challenges for you today. And I also want to have where, you are not just listening to what I've done and listening to my story, but thinking about your own story at the same time. So sometimes people, if they are taking notes, they have 2 columns, one related to the things that I'm saying, and then if they want to take notes on what is going on in their life that may apply to that particular circumstance or situation. So before we go further, I want to talk about mindfulness. And is your mind full or are you mindful? Is your mind full or are you mindful? Part of this has to do with the fact that we have so much going on in our lives, so much going on, that sometimes our mind is so full that we are not able to bring anything else in as far as extra teaching or things that will help us on our journey, whether it's doing better in our family or doing better just in life in general, because of the fact that our mind is so full. So what we're going to do today, again, as I mentioned, is focus. We're going to pay attention. We're going to be present. We're going to be present in this current time, in this current moment. No matter what's going on in the rest of the expo right now, no matter what's going on, maybe even our family, with our jobs or other things that may be in our minds, we're just going to focus on this moment and be present. And we're going to be present and not have judgment over ourselves or judgment over anyone else from that matter. Because a lot of times when we come to expos like this, it is because we have something that we want to work on. And maybe we know other people that have some things that they need to work on too. And so what we want to do is not judge other people or not even be hard on ourselves, just be present and be open to accept some of the lessons that are going to transpire as a part of this session. And then I want you to be at one. I want you to be at one with yourself and your thoughts so that, again, you're not focusing on any other distractions. You're just focusing on this particular moment. We are in the mindfulness and well-being section of the Best You Expo. And so I thought it was important for us to just look at all of the different aspects, a number of the different aspects of our lives. Part of it has to do with that we are more than just a one-dimension individual. We have more than one dimension. More than one. So when we look at mindfulness and we look at well-being, there was a study at Cornell University that talked about there's 7 different dimensions or areas of well-being. And so here you see it says mental well-being, social, physical, cultural, financial, occupational, environmental, and I'm sure that we could list a number of others, but pretty much anything and everything that we could think about might fit into some of these areas. And so as we continue forward, I want you to maybe just think of one thing in one area that you want to jump into your greatness in. Because when we think of the word jump, it's where we're taking action. We're taking action, but we're taking a swift action. The word jump has to do with leaving from someplace and going in the air and landing in a different place. Now, it may be that you jump straight up and you come straight down, but your feet most likely will not land in the same exact area. And part of this is what we're saying is when we say jump into your greatness is that you have where you are right now, the impact that you have. And then you have where you are meant to do a certain thing in this world so that you can impact someone else so that they can go forward and jump into their greatness as well. So as we continue on, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about fear, worth, and abundance. Fear, worth, and abundance. So why is it that sometimes we have problems admitting to the fact that that we have fear? Why is it that sometimes we have problems admitting to the fact that we have fear? I know that I have a number of fears. Napoleon Hill talks about some of them as well. Fear of acceptance, fear, even sometimes fear of success, fear of poverty, and there's a whole host of ones that he goes into in Think and Grow Rich. But what we're going to talk about today is us. And you can raise your hand to yourself, or even write a comment in the post to say, do you have a problem sometimes admitting that you're fearful? Maybe admitting to yourself as opposed to also admitting to other individuals. And sometimes that causes doubt in us, right? We doubt whether we're okay doing something or not, or we doubt that we can achieve something because of these fears. So what is fear really? What is fear really? Some people have heard the definition of false evidence appearing real. That is used a lot, but I have another definition of fear and a way that we can use it. So this is one of the first tools that we'll have that you can use. And this particular definition I have for fear is FEAR, and it's fresh energy awaiting reset. Let me say that again. Fear can be fresh energy awaiting reset. So how is that possible? Well, when we think about fear, when we think about the feeling that we have in our body and the different chemicals that are let loose in our body, whether it's dopamine or oxytocin, or there's all these different ones, adrenaline, there's all of these different things that are released in our body. And when we're excited, it's the same type of effect, the same things that are released. So what happens when we're fearful? We also have where our heart is beating hard. We start sweating potentially, or we get jitters in our stomach, and our voice maybe cracks, and there's all these different things that are going on when we're excited. But guess what? Those are some of the same things that happen when we're fearful. So what we want to do is use that energy, because this is energy that's built up in your body because it's anticipating something happening. When you're excited, it's anticipating something happening that is positive, as opposed to when you're fearful, you're anticipating something in the future that is probably something that you don't want to happen. That's why it's considered fear. But if you can use that same energy as a fresh dose of adrenaline that you can now reset to be used in the positive, then you're further along than a lot of people in relation to how you can use fear. So we're going to be going through some exercises on that in a little bit, but I just want us to know right now that we can go ahead and reset. We can reset right now. And part of it is, let's just go ahead and jump into the exercise. So I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to focus. I want you to focus on one thing that you may be fearful of. Now, this isn't where you're fearful right now. There's not like a lion coming after you, or it's not where you are maybe having to speak in front of a lot of people, or do a presentation at school, or some other thing that sometimes make people fearful. But I want you to think about one of those things. Take a deep breath. Think about what happens in your body and in your mind when you think about that one thing that you know that you're fearful of. Some people are fearful of rejection. Some people are fearful of being able to go out and do something bigger than they've ever done before. So I want you to think about that thing. And then I want you to elevate your mind above it, where it's like you're looking down at that fear. And I want you to look at that fear with no judgment. And I want you to just look at it as if it's dissipating and it's disappearing. Now, of course, a lot of this takes people being enrolled in my program, Jumping Into Your Greatness, where there's various steps that we go through. But did you bring your mind above that fear? Did you look down and see it dissipate? How did that make you feel? How did that make you feel? Hopefully it made you feel like you accomplished something great. And it can be that when you actually put the steps into practice that are a part of the program of Jumping Into Your Greatness, that you can really, really feel and see and hear and taste and experience the results for yourself. So fear is false evidence appearing real, but I say it's fresh energy awaiting reset. Fresh energy awaiting reset. So fear and excitement, they have some of the same energy. And what we will do is we will use this for the rest of our lives as fuel. You can use it as fuel once you know the tools and the techniques able to utilize fear in a positive way. Okay. And this is so, so great and so important. And I really appreciated the fact and thank God when I found this out and he sent me this definition, because it made a big difference in how I approach everything in my life. Everything in my life is different, approaching fear as fresh energy awaiting reset. And I was bullied growing up. And even allowed it in certain ways and certain degrees related to having where there was racist acts, or maybe even just because I was a female working in other countries. I've been all over the world doing leadership, mindset, engineering, genetic research, and some other things in about 25 different countries. And sometimes I was accepted and sometimes I was not. And so from elementary school up through adulthood, even up to the age of 50, I was allowing people to suck and sap my energy and to allow them to make me play small because of wanting to be accepted. But once I understood that particular fear and I reset it, it took me about a 2.5-year time frame to be able to really have that self-reflection. And we're going to be going into what those steps are so that I could then evict those things from my mind and elevate my thinking and my actions to match. So once you get this particular tool in your tool belt, I can guarantee you that your life will be different. So what I want to say right now is today is a new day. My future, my choice. I will jump, I will land, and I will succeed. We're going to say this a couple of times during this presentation. Let's say it again. Today is a new day. My future, my choice. I will jump, I will land, and I will succeed. Now, as we think of this, what we want to go to now is the word worth. Worth. I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to be talking about 3 words. We're going to be talking about fear. We're going to be talking about worth and abundance. Worth is something that a lot of times we allow people to put their definition of value on us. Their definition of value on us. And why do we do that? Because we want to be accepted. I wanted to be accepted in kindergarten when I came in with my little plastic briefcase, and my parents told me I could be anything I wanted to be. I could do anything that I want to do. And I believed them, but I was also faced with a different attitude once I got there. And so I put myself into my studies. I put myself into dance, into music, and I excelled at everything that I did because I had that focus. But it wasn't necessarily focused because I enjoyed those activities, of which I did, but it was also a way of dealing with the bullying and dealing with people not maybe seeing that I had the value that I thought that I had. So there's a lot of people that whether you've gone through domestic violence, child abuse, or verbal abuse, or harassment on your job, or if you've been through bullying, there's specifically, the word bullying, there's a lot of times that we end up taking that on as not being worthy, not having value, because we're not accepted. And this, again, is something that even happens with adults, with young adults and adults. And so in any area of your life, if you have not felt that you were at the level that you should be, if you felt that you were less than, or if someone says something about you and then you take it on to yourself and then you have the voices in your head that are telling you the same thing that that person said, as opposed to thinking positivity, that is a worth problem. So with that, we want to get into the steps of jumping into your greatness. The first step is evaluation. And wherever you are, if you are able, I want you to say the word out loud. Say the word evaluation. The word evaluation. Here is where we evaluate our beliefs and our faith and our focus. We evaluate our beliefs, faith, and focus. So do you have faith in a higher power? Do you have faith in yourself? Do you have the right focus? Do you have the right focus? Well, I want to congratulate you for being a part of this Best You Expo, because that's showing that you do have some level of focus because you're here. Part of what we do in the evaluation phase is making sure that we look, deep into anything and everything that you're doing. And anything and everything you're doing means that those are things that you're focused on. There's only 24 hours in a day. So when we look at evaluation, it really focuses on what are we focused on and what are we doing each day. So when you think about your day, do you have where you have outlined a plan for your day? Do you wake up and have where you have some kind of affirmation or prayer or gratitude or review of your plan for the day? If not, those are things that we can work on so that you can start your day out and be ready to jump into your greatness. And when we think about focus, there's several studies that are out there that talk about the word focus and the kinds of things that people do throughout the day. And a lot of them have high percentages of people that spend a number of hours doing relaxation type activities. Now, whether that's TV or a movie or reading the paper, or you're listening to music, or just going through and scrolling on the internet, on your phone, those are considered relaxation activities. But if that consumes your day where you're not focused on your greatness, you have no plan and not focused on your greatness, then my question for you and my challenge to you is, let's get into this evaluation phase and really understand more about what your purpose is, what my purpose is, why we are here and connected together at this particular time. One of the reasons why we're here at this particular time together is to help with whatever I can do to help you to be the best version of yourself. This next section talks about evict. Evict. When we think about the word evict and eviction, it has to do with the fact that there are things that we have in our life. There are a number of things that we have in our life potentially that we evict. There's things in our life that we need to evict. There's things we need to get rid of. We need to get rid of our fears. We need to get rid of those fibs, those lies, those things that are in our head to confuse us, those things that are in our head that hold us back, those things that we are telling ourselves, maybe because of something that someone else told us, but it goes back to us not being ready to jump into our greatness because we have allowed people to instill fear in us, and we have allowed ourselves to instill fear in ourselves. The next word here is elevate. Elevate. What are we doing to elevate ourselves to our unique freedom formula? We all have one. We all have a freedom formula. Do you know what yours is? Do you know what your purpose is? That's part of the reason that you're at the Best You Expo. And so I really appreciate you being here on this particular session. When we elevate, we are then able to execute all of these plans that we put in place to jump into our greatness. And that's something that's pretty exciting, right? That's something that gives us even more energy because we've been able to actually get something done toward our purpose. Part of the issue, though, is that we all have, at some degree, some type of fear. We have some type of issue, sometimes with worth, and we also have different understandings of abundance. So let's look at the word abundance. Abundance is a choice, and we are in the mindfulness and well-being area to talk about our mind. And you can see on my page here, it says that I'm a jumpologist. Okay, so I help people to jump past those things that sometimes cloud their mind as far as the things that are holding them back. And sometimes we're held back, not by anyone else not giving us opportunities, not accepting us, not promoting us. It has to do with our mind, and it has to do with ourselves, and it has to do with us making the choice to accept our abundance. to accept our abundance. This particular photo right here, I love this photo of the birds just coming out of the cage. They're just coming out of the cage. Now, do you think that they just like took one little step, one little step, one little step? No, they jumped so that they could fly. And I love helping people, as I mentioned, being the best version of themselves, of which each person is different. Everyone has a different freedom formula. But the first thing that you have to do is make that choice to jump. And guess what? Jumping is free. Jumping is free. Abundance is free. Now, how is abundance free, Crystal? Well, let me explain this. Part of the reason why I'm saying abundance is free is because of the fact that once you understand that opportunities are all around you and that you just have to be in the right mindset to accept them, then you're halfway there. You're halfway there. I mentioned earlier that I went through a 2.5-year period at age 50 to say no more and to do the self-evaluation that I needed to do to understand, why I was having certain thoughts, why I was allowing certain things to happen to me, or why I was even doing or projecting certain actions. And during that time frame, I learned a lot about myself. There were a lot of different lists that I wrote down, a lot of people that I listened to, a lot of different books, whether it's mindset books or different scriptures in the Bible, or famous authors. There's so many different ones that are out there, different paths that you can take. But after that time frame, I've now spent the last 2.5 years jumping into my greatness. And even though I had been in a lot of different industries, I had been all over the world, like 25 different countries, I had not really totally experienced the things that I was put here for, because I still had fear and I still had acceptance issues and worth issues. But once I realized that I was trying to play small to make other people feel better, then I was able to jump out of the cage and jump into my greatness. And it's still a process. It's a life process. So part of what we do is we outline your journey map for jumping into your own specific greatness and your own freedom formula. And it is what you make it. Abundance, your freedom is what you make it. And just by virtue of the fact that you are here in this session, you are here in the Expo, means that you are ready to take advantage of your abundance. Your unique formula is up to you. Your unique freedom formula is up to you. So I want you, while I'm still talking in this particular area, maybe just to write down 3 things that freedom means to you. 3 things that freedom means to you. I grew up in a family that we had a lot of love. I grew up from Flint, Michigan, and we now live in Arizona. I've been married for 28 years, and we have 2 beautiful daughters. They are 24 and 26. They're both about to have birthdays, but I had to create my freedom formula for myself and what that meant to me during that 2.5-year period that I talked about. And so whether it's a financial freedom, whether it is spiritual freedom, we talked about well-being earlier, right? Whether it is freedom related to your occupation, whether it's health freedom, whether it's just in your mind, just having a good, sound mind. All of these relate to what people define as freedom. So it may not be that you have handcuffs on your hands, but sometimes we have handcuffs on our minds because we are holding in things that we were not meant to hold in, because we need to use that energy. We need to use the fear. We need to use the visions of not being worthy and elevate our mind so that we can then experience the abundance that we were put here to experience. Because we all were created and designed for a specific reason. I'm a born again Christian. I believe in God. And so I believe that God has created all of us for a specific reason, for a specific purpose. So no matter if that's what you believe or if you believe in something else, we all have been put here to have an impact in this world so that then we can go and impact someone else and that they can do the same. And so once we are clear that we have choices, then it becomes fun. It becomes fun to jump into our greatness because it's all about mindset. And where you allow your mind to set will be your mindset. Let me say that again. Where you allow your mind to set is going to be your mindset. So we want to cultivate positive thinking. And this is not just affirmations just for just saying, you know, I am strong, I am positive, I am confident, just to say it in the morning, but it's to say it so that you can believe it. And so today, I want to say to you that you have a choice. You have a choice. I had a choice 2.5 years ago, and I still have choices today. But that was 5 years ago that I had a choice to say no more when I turned 50. I had a choice to say no more. So what is it that you need to say no more to? What is it that you need to operate and utilize your choice to say no more? Is it saying no more to fear? Is it saying no more to other negative thoughts? Is it even saying no more to a person? Mine went across all of those areas where I had to say no more to one specific person. And then I had to say no more to a specific personality type of people who speak to people in a certain way. And I tell you, it made such a difference in my life that is when I started down this journey of really wanting to help as many people as I could, to not just help them in a lot of the other things that I had done in industry, but also to help in relation to being able to help people with their mindset, being able to help people with their mindset. So you have a choice. Did you write down a couple, 2 or 3 things that you have a choice in making a yes or no for? So let me explain that. Let me explain that. You have a choice to allow people to use you or to allow people to not use you. And what do I mean by that? When we talk about the conscious and subconscious, everyone has where they are here trying to basically keep themselves safe, keep themselves comfortable. Your brain and your mind, we're here to make you safe and comfortable. So sometimes people use this as a manipulation tactic, but sometimes they are just trying to keep themselves comfortable. So whatever it is that they need, they will ask you for it so that they can be comfortable and that they can be safe. And then you're out there extending yourself more and more and more so that they can be safe and comfortable and maybe even work on their purpose and jump into their greatness. But then you're overextended because you're being used. So I say to you, you have a choice. You have a choice. You made a choice today to come to this session related to jumping into your greatness. This isn't necessarily walking into your greatness. It is from the mindset is that there's steps and everyone goes on their own time frame to go through the program, the 90-day program. But it is also where you take that leap, you take that jump to take the first step. And that also may mean that you will have to make some choices on how you spend your time, how you spend your money, what relationships you keep. All of these are choices. They're all choices. To jump into your greatness, sometimes there's pruning that needs to occur. And if you're taking notes, I want you to write down the word pruning. Pruning is a choice. What happens when you prune a tree? When you prune a tree, it then creates more fruit and it creates more abundance. So are you ready to do some pruning today? Are you ready to do some pruning today? Are you ready to jump today? Are you ready to take the actions that you need to do to jump for yourself? All of us have where it is key that if we want to have a fulfilling life, we take these steps. We take the jump because greatness is awaiting you. We all have greatness inside. We really do. We all have greatness inside, and it may not even be related to what you think it is supposed to be about. One of the things I do related to Build That Biz, buildthatbiz.com, you can go there and take a look later, is I help people understand their greatness. And sometimes it's not even what they come to me for. They come to me to help them build one particular business, and by the time we're done, we may be actually building a whole nother business. And why is that? Part of the reason is because they needed a little bit of help understanding their greatness. They just needed a little bit of help to understand their greatness. So greatness is awaiting you. It's awaiting you. Are you ready? So what I want you to do, we have had where we closed our eyes a few times here today. And as we get ready to close this session, I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about what freedom means to you. What does freedom mean to you? What does freedom mean to you? And as you think about that, it's important that you try not to think about that in terms of anyone else's definition for you, but the definition that you have for yourself. What does freedom mean to you? And so I want you to keep your eyes closed just for one moment. And I want you to think about some of the words that I said earlier. I said the word evaluate. When you think about the freedom formula and we think about what freedom means to you, what is it that you need to evaluate? Maybe think about that. Another word that I said while your eyes are closed is the word evict. The word evict. Are there some things that you need to evict? Get out of your mind, get out of your life. And then while your eyes are closed, the last word is elevate. Elevate. So when we think of elevation, we think about the fact that we are free of all of those burdens and the things that have weighed us down. A lot of us are not physically weighed down by anything. There's not like weights all on us. There's not this anchor, but there are mental weights. Sometimes there's financial weights. There's weights from other people that are in our families where they have put their worries, their cares, their way of conducting life on us, and it has weighed us down. A lot of people are weighed down right now because of the coronavirus and all that's going on that really can have a mental impact on us. And part of it too is, death still happens, whether it's related to the coronavirus or not. I've had a number of people that have passed away from the coronavirus, from cancer, car accidents, some other things that have happened, just in these last several months. And that can weigh you down. But I'm here to encourage you. I'm here to encourage you when you elevate your mind, yes, you will have some time that you spend on those things, but it will not encompass your whole day. It will not take over your whole mind where you're not able to take those steps that you need to do to jump into your greatness. So if your eyes are still closed, I want you to think about a weight being lifted off of your back. I want you to think about a weight being lifted off of your mind. I want you to think about even a weight being lifted off of your pocketbook. And see and feel, how does that feel to you? How does that feel? How does that feel? Does it feel good to have those thoughts? Well, what we do is not just have where it feels good to have the thoughts, but where you can also have where it's a reality for you. A reality for you. So there's a number of things that we have to offer. If you want to come by my booth after this session and check out some of the offers and maybe have a chat with me online, or if you want to actually have a conversation, there is a Zoom that I can send. It's actually in the link in my booth that you can click on that Zoom right after this. Within the next 5 minutes, we'll be logging off and we can have a conversation about your personal greatness. We can have a conversation about you jumping. We can have a conversation about the evaluation, eviction, and elevation mode so that you can then execute all of these wonderful plans to have the impact that you were meant to have in this world. Right now, we are able to offer this for the Best You Expo at a 50% discount, and that's something that we can talk about if you are interested when you come to the booth. But there's also some other great things in there as far as the raffles of some things that you might want to take advantage of. There's a vision room event that I'll be having on next Saturday, and you might want to look at that. Some people have been to vision board parties. This is a vision room party. It's not a party, it's a meeting, it's a summit. But what we go over is more than just what you would do in a regular vision board event. Because why is that? Because we all have some things that we need to evaluate, evict, and elevate in our lives. And so we use that philosophy and those techniques in order to have where you can develop a plan to come up with a vision room. And I'm excited about vision rooms, and you can get more information about that later as well. And then all of us have a story. All of us have where you may not have been bullied like me. You may have gone through some of the things that I've gone through, but you've been through something that someone else can connect to that can help them to then have the impact that they need to have, that they're supposed to have. So you had an impact on them so that they can have an impact. So there's a book writers event also on Saturday after the vision room event, so that we can talk about how you can get your story in print to help people. I have a book called Into the New, and there's a link for it on my page for you to see more information about that. But Into the New is a mindset book, because we all have new things that happen. We all have change that happens. And so how we handle change is what really affects how we live our life. Let me say that again. How we are able to handle and process change has an effect on how we are able to process life. So as we get ready to go today, I want you to say this with me. Say it loud. And I want you to go ahead and put your pen down and say these words with me. Today is a new day. My future, my choice. I will jump, I will land, I will succeed. Let's say that again. Today is a new day. My future, my choice. I will jump, I will land, and I succeed. It is my sincere prayer for you that whatever you do for the rest of your day today on the Best You Expo, or whether you come hear me speak tomorrow or Monday on the panel, or on Wednesday with Ladies It's Ready to Smash Your Trash, whatever it is that you do, that you find all of the tools and techniques that you need so that you can become the best you. And so my motto is never settle for less, always be above your best. Never settle for less, always be above your best. And we are here for you. I'll be around a number of different times at the booth. I think I said 7 to 8 a.m. Every day, that's PST, as well as 4 to 5 p.m. PST, to be able to speak with you. Also, right after this session, you can log on to the Zoom and we can have a conversation. So I thank you for being a part of Jumping Into Your Greatness. And remember, don't let fear, somebody else's definition of worth for you, or your understanding of abundance hold you back from your greatness, because we are here to jump into our greatness. Thank you.